Welcome to a conversation with Whitecaps baseball coach Kevin Lallmann. I am Mike Dudas from the K-Tour studio at Ball High School in Galveston, Texas. Hello, Coach.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
It's been a while since we spoke, so I'm glad we're finally back together, even though we're on Zoom. So one of these days soon, I'm sure we'll be face-to-face and exploring different avenues about blasting this out. But right now, I think this is a great avenue. So tell us about maybe a year ago at this time when the plug got pulled on everything and kind of like what your life was like.
Wow. That's a really long answer.
Yeah.
Our life has been completely different over the last calendar year. Both personally and professionally, things have changed completely. The positive side, the good side of that is that we are back up and playing. Things are beginning to normalize as much as possible within junior college baseball and college baseball in general. I think we're on the right path to getting it back to normal. But, kind of giving you a timeline of what it was like. Last March, we played on a Thursday, and on Friday, everything that we knew changed from that point forward. And within the week, we had sent all of our players home and pretty much gave them no answers as to what was coming next because we didn't know.
Right.
We started off by thinking it was going to be a week or two shutdown, and ultimately it ended up being we didn't have them back until August in the fall. Going into the fall, which ordinarily, just for those of you that don't know, ordinarily during the fall, we play a regular schedule. We play other teams, we travel. It's basically a 1/3 section of our regular season is what we do during the fall. Well, due to quarantine protocols and just overall being careful, we did none of that this fall. We had no outside competition. Practices were limited in groups. We had 4 groups of 15 guys for 1 hour at a time. So just even a normal everyday practice was a bit of a challenge.
Walk me through, okay, so all of a sudden your season ended last spring and you didn't come back. How did how did you survive the recruiting process into the new year? Because obviously you probably had guys leave the college, right? Did they leave and go on to other things because that was the end of their time there?
Well, we had a few that had signed early up to that point. So those guys moved on to the schools that they had signed at.
Right.
I guess an important detail of this is the NJCAA and the NCAA granted a free year of eligibility. So basically last year did not count.
Okay.
So everybody that was on our roster last year was eligible to come back again for this year. During our fall season this year, or what ordinarily would be our fall season, during our fall semester, the NJCAA granted yet another year of free eligibility. So the season we're currently playing doesn't count either. I know it's very confusing, and we're still playing, and we're still playing for a championship, which begins on Tuesday. But from an eligibility standpoint, none of that counts against the kids. That sounds really good, but it's creating a lot of problems in terms of who do we go out and recruit? Who are we losing? Who's coming back? Who's leaving? How many guys should we recruit and replace? All those questions that we would normally have answered, we don't know the answer to right now. Right now we have 6 guys signed for next year. Ordinarily at this time, we would probably have 12 to 14. So everybody's just kind of trying to play it day by day and see, okay, as we sign one off now to a 4-year school, we have somebody ready to step in and replace that kid.
Right. I guess just stay on the subject of recruiting. How do you balance, and I guess what internally, what is the process of recruiting? You know, you're busy managing, leading guys on the field through a season. So how do you stay in tune with all the recruiting efforts for your future?
It's become easier over the time, and we've had to adapt to the way it is now in terms of video, emails, texts, phone conversations, Zoom calls. Recruiting has a different face now than it did 2 years ago, even.
A lot more high tech, right?
Yeah, it is. And in a lot of ways, that's made it a lot easier to be accessible to the kids. But in other ways, we haven't been able to go out and actually lay eyes on a guy that we want to be in our program. Last spring, we were not allowed to go out and evaluate kids until June 1st. So there was a full month or so where we would ordinarily be on the road every day. We were just stuck at home. So everybody's trying to play catch up right now. And it's really put the class of 21, the class of 22 high school guys, it's put them in a bad situation, because where there would ordinarily be spots available at a junior college or at a four-year school, there's a logjam at those schools where the kids aren't leaving. So it's kind of put everybody in a challenging situation.
And to throw into the mix with the athletes coming back to campus on the fall, you all opened new dorms, correct?
We did. We opened up a brand new $5 million dorm on campus. It's great. We have seven buildings that on the outside are built to look like beach houses that match the neighborhood, but within the inside, they're more of a dorm situation. And we had them filled this fall. Our guys in the softball team were the first ones to live in there, and it's been great. It's been great to have them all contained on campus. Security is good there. We have cameras up everywhere, so the guys' personal belongings have been able to be looked after. And of course, the accessibility to campus being right next door, it's a big benefit for us.
I've talked to several of the guys, and they told me, yeah, the accommodations are spectacular. It's really good. What is the maximum occupancy? How many athletes can be housed there?
Those houses are 10 player, 5-bedroom is what they are. And there's 7 structures, so we have beds for 7. In addition to that, we have garage apartments behind each one.
Right.
So we actually have 14 structures. But I believe the total number is, what would that be? I believe it's 84 maximum capacity. And they were full in the fall.
And I'm sure that's just kind of a new exciting amenity to add to your recruiting process too, to offer, hey, we have brand new dorm right across the street from the campus.
Yeah, it's been a good showpiece for us. Actually, for the longest time, we weren't able to. Well, we still don't. We're still not able to walk them through and show them a tour. We're still dealing with some protocols on campus that you have to go through: temperature screening, wristband, get a wristband every day when we check in, just in an effort to keep business moving forward. We're continuing with some of the protocols as well as our games. We're going to play tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, and all of our guys will check in whenever they get here. They'll get temperature screened. We fill out paperwork saying all of our team is healthy and ready to go. The opposing team will do the same thing. So there's, in addition to playing games and doing the things that we do on the field, we've had several layers added to a game day.
Just to keep everyone safe and healthy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize how intricate behind the scenes the safety protocol is. I mean, I think we all got a taste of it in the news the last week or so through Major League Baseball with the Astros, where
Right.
a handful of their stars were sidelined, and just due to their strict protocol.
It's really changed everything. But I mean, that's just the way it is now. There's no there's no argument against it. That's just the world we live in now. So uh, if we want to continue playing and competing, that's the steps we have to go through. And it's become a lot more streamlined over the course of the season. Opening day, the first day before we get on the bus, we have to check in and do all of that stuff. And everybody was like, it was kind of a hectic process. But we'll practice this afternoon. Our guys come in, sign in. It takes 5 minutes. Everybody's used to the process now, so it's gotten a lot better.
Become more routine, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
it's just become part of our routine now. So, like I said, I really feel like things are normalizing and heading back to the way we've always done it. I hope so. Our weight room opened up for the first time last week. We haven't had access to our own weight room up until this point, which in a junior college setting, that's a big part of the process.
Yeah.
There's three things, and I tell this, I just got done telling it to a recruit on campus. There's three things you go to junior college for: play baseball, go to school, and lift weights. And we were missing a big aspect of that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that's back in place now, and by next fall, when our team rolls in here, we'll be able to give them all the things that we've been able to provide in years past. So.
Tell us about the season right now. How's everything been going this spring?
It's been a struggle. It's been a real struggle. The kind of to throw a blanket over the whole thing, none of our guys have played in a year, and things that we would ordinarily get ironed out during the fall, we had to do during the season. Where we during the fall, we can go play games that don't count. They're scrimmage games where we can work on some things and iron some things out and teach and develop. Well, we were unable to do that. So when we finally got turned loose to start playing games, now they count. And we still had to do the same things, though. There was no way around the process of you've got to let these guys play and let them figure it out at this level. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle.
To find the right chemistry and that type of thing, right?
Yeah. Another big piece of the pie in fall ball is you kind of find out who your better guys are, who's going to be consistent, who's going to be in the lineup every day. Well, we didn't know. When we started, we didn't know. We had some ideas. We had some thoughts of this guy's probably going to do it, but we didn't know. So we were running out multiple lineups all the time. We kept more guys on the roster this year than we ever have. So not only were we trying to play a bunch of different combinations, we were playing a bunch of different people. And it's been a real challenge as a coach to keep everybody sharp enough by getting playing time, yet playing the right guys and winning games. It's been a real challenge. As we have got into conference play, we've played really well. Despite the record, we've played really well. We've had a ton of one-run losses here where if we get a hit, we win the game. If we make a pitch, we win the game. And part of the process is learning how to get that hit and learning how to make that pitch. And it has not been a bad year in terms of the guys are learning and growing and progressing. And whether they're moving on to another school next year or returning here, it's been a very good year of development for our guys, which is really at the end of the day, that's what we're here for anyway.
For those that are not familiar with your conference, who are some of the teams in your conference?
It's San Jac, Blinn, Wharton, Alvin, and Coastal Bend.
So it's a good little region around you. Which community college is the furthest from Galveston?
Our farthest drive will be Coastal Bend, which we go there on Saturday. We finish the regular season there Saturday. And I believe it's a 4-hour drive is what it is. In years past, we had Laredo in the conference as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a 5-hour drive. But last year, during the shutdown, during the pandemic shutdown, Laredo dropped their baseball program. So we actually replaced them in the conference schedule with Coastal Bend. Coastal Bend's a Division III school that are applying for Division I membership. So they played our conference schedule this year where all of those games count, but they're still competing for a Division III national championship. So it's kind of, they're working together, but they're in our conference, but they're not.
With Laredo in the past, you said a 5-hour drive, so that's 5 hours from Galveston to Laredo, right? So you would have to travel 5 hours there, potentially, probably sometimes play a doubleheader. Is that correct?
Yeah, we played 2 days of doubleheaders. The way the Laredo we're actually doing it a little bit different with Coastal, but in years past, we would go down the night before, go on Thursday, play Friday and Saturday, doubleheaders both days, and then come home Saturday night.
That's what I was hoping you were going to say. It was an overnighter. I just can't imagine the stress and the trauma. 5 hours. All right, guys, we're going to play a doubleheader and then get back on the bus and go back. That would be very brutal.
Yeah, and the challenging part of that is I'm the bus driver.
Yeah, so exactly.
Not only do we get to coach a doubleheader, we get to hop on the bus and drive home. So we've done several things. We're actually doing it this week. We play Coastal here tomorrow. And then Friday, we're going to get on the bus and go down there and practice at their field, spend the night, play Saturday, and then come home. So there's some overnight aspects of that have made it more player friendly and safer for us getting there and back. So
when you stay an overnight, or where do you stay at? A local motel or?
Yeah, in Beeville, there's actually a really good hotel called the Yonder Inn, and we stayed down there during the first half of conference, and it was great. It was a really nice place. So made reservations yesterday. We're going back to the Yonder Inn.
Is the old-fashioned assign guys the rooms, check rooms, curfew, all that good stuff?
Yep, we got 4 guys to a room. We usually take them out to eat whenever we get there, and after dinner we give them a little free time, and then we check rooms about 10 o'clock and put them to bed and get up and go to work the next day.
Where's a good place to take a big group of guys like that for dinner on the road?
It varies. Because of our schedule, we usually play late games, so we eat a lot of Whataburger.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Whataburger.
Yeah, that's a pretty familiar stop for us. If we have time, like Friday when we get there, we'll probably go to a sit-down place. But even that aspect has been changed over the last year. There was a lot of restaurants that didn't allow indoor seating, so we were ordering ahead of time, having them box it up and bring it out and eat on the bus. We've ate a lot of meals on the bus this past year.
Yeah, another new norm due to COVID, and we'll see how as things are reopening. But I know, like, probably one of the ideal things is find a cheap buffet somewhere and just let the guys eat. But find a buffet anymore right now, you can't. So
yeah, that's always been the go-to is find a all-you-can-eat place and just turn them loose. I really hope that aspect returns at some point because it's expensive to feed 35 guys.
Exactly. All right, so let's set up the scenario. I know you play a couple games tomorrow, and then you're going to quickly end the season, and there's some ifs, ands, and buts that are going to happen. So walk us through that.
Okay, so our national tournament begins on Tuesday, which there's regional, super regional aspects to that. The very first step is Tuesday. We will play a play-in game to get into the regional tournament. If we win on Tuesday, we'll be traveling to Tyler to play at UT Tyler in the regional. And the way it works, we're having two separate regionals this year, where ordinarily we would have an 8-team regional at a neutral site. We're having two 4-team regionals. So the South, there'll be 4 teams qualify from the South and the East. Our numbers 1 and 3 seeds will be playing at San Jacinto. Our numbers 2 and 4 seed will be playing at UT Tyler. The East 1 and 3 will be staying at UT Tyler, and the East 2 and 4 will be coming down to San Jacinto to play in our. So it's cross-bracketed. It's what it is. And that is a double elimination tournament. The winners of those 2 tournaments will then play a super regional, best 2 out of 3, to go to the World Series. So there's essentially, for us, there's 3 steps between now and the national tournament.
And so I guess the big game to win is next Tuesday. Is that what you said? So
Tuesday. We're waiting on the week's results. I can tell you right now, it's either going to be Alvin, Glenn, or Wharton. They were all within 1 game of each other. So depending on how their series works out this week, that'll be our opponent.
All right. So lots happened in the past, lots happening now, a lot in the future for you. So we will check in again with you maybe in a week or so and see how we fared, and hopefully we'll continue to play. You can set that up for us.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you having me on. It's always fun to talk about what we're doing and let people know what we're doing. We've had, despite the quarantines and things of that nature, we've had really good crowds this year. I think people were really excited to get back out and watch some baseball. So it's always fun for me to be able to let the community and the people that are involved know what's going on, because we do have a really good thing going on out here. It's a good place to play. The city of Galveston has made some improvements at our field this year. And bringing a student athlete in like we did this morning, he walked in the gate and he's like, wow, this place is great. And that was his very first reaction. So it's always fun for me to be able to let people know what we're doing and what we got going on out here, because it's pretty special.
And I guess it's always pleasing to your ears when you hear from a recruit, this place is great.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're good. We're doing a good sales job.
That's a good first reaction.
Exactly. All right, Coach. Well, thank you for having a conversation with us, and we'll check in again with you in a week or so.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.